Hello, Wendy here. Today we are going to do this index card, and we actually end up doing both sides, which I think in a way I might like this side a little bit better, but I think they're both nice in their own way, and I just want to show you that just changing up a little bit of something can give you a, completely different look. So here we've got some of the tools: ruler, your typical pens and pencils. We're also going to be using a Tim Holtz brush, a round gel plate, and some of the colors we'll be using here. We're also using Distress ink, and then some of the final options will be used. We'll be using the Remnant rubs, and then those faces are Jane Davenport. Okay, so let's get going. So I've got my, what is this, a 3x5 index card, and I'm going to lay first some, what do we got here? I've got some Jane Davenport, and this is the lighter of the cream color. And just going to put a little down here. Brayer it out. I like to go in different directions because it gives you different depths on the paint. Go real thin. Take off some of the excess. You can see how thick it is here, that I want to lift up some of that. And I do have a piece of scrap over here that I'm cleaning off onto. And then just to get some of a circle, I want to just kind of pick up some on the side here. Yeah, like that. And you know what? I'm going to do this other side too, just to see which side decide like to use. And I've got this cleanup here. So let's get going with another piece of paper. And what I'm going to be using for the cleanup is some Neenah, I think it's Neenah. This is just 90 pound. And just clean this up just a little bit. And that's pretty good. I'm not going to worry at this time about all this extra because I'm going to be adding to it, so that's nice that that'll pop through because then it'll look like it's layering on here. So very little of this, and this is another Jane Davenport. If you wanted, I had some Deco Cherry Blossom ink here too, so it's not necessary that you use, a better craft paint. I mean, I think this DecoArt, these bottles here run for like $1. You can use that too. In fact, you know what? I'll just put some on too to show you. It's totally doable. It's just more about the colors you want to use. And I guess because I originally got the design from Jane's Butterfly book, I worked in that one, and I was kind of using her stuff. So my thought here is, because this curve is going this way, let's get another one going in here. So let's see. Yeah, like that. Let's get it a little bit more. There we go. Just touch it. Get a little over here. Like so. Let's get this other side. Same thing. Want the curve going this way. So let's see. If it goes like this, then we're going to go up here. Right? I want the curve like this. So there we go. That's right. Okay, let's get a little bit more where that white is. It's starting to dry, you can see, because it's not really coming up. So you know what? I want to clean this up a little. So I'm going to use some of my tried and true. I love this gesso. I absolutely love it. It's a clear. It's by Finnabair. Just a little bit goes a long way. but the consistency of it is almost like an Elmer's glue. Not sticky, obviously, but there's no grit in it. Like when, let's see if I have any on my desk here. I need a piece of wipe. Sorry if it's loud. Let's see, do I have Liquitex, or I do. So let me see if I can get this to show on the screen. This is grittier. The Liquitex is a very, very, I don't know if you can see it. Not really. It's a real gritty, and I'm not a fan of that, for most things anyway. Sometimes I need that extra grit, but this Finnabair is not like that. So let's just get that thin layer out. Normally I have a little bit more on here than what's on there now at the moment. In fact, let me add just a little bit more. Yeah, see, it's usually like a little cloudy, so you can tell where you're rolling. It's not usually an issue. But then what happens is I like using the clear because sometimes when you have all that grit clean, you know, the cleanup of the plate, it shows through instead of constantly having to do a solid surface in the background to lift all this. So let's get this. The next step, what I'm going to do is add, let's see, just a little bit. I'm going to work right on here. I'm going to, and I've got a side piece here that I use for a palette quite often, and I'm just going to add a third color, which is, Fresco Finish Buff. Just get a little bit on here, just in the middle there, see? And then just kind of get this additional color in here. I don't know, just because. And this one here because it's got all that middle there. Okay. So now I've got a stencil that also belongs to the butterfly book. So I don't need to work on this anymore. Let's let that dry a little bit more because I'm wanting that gesso to pick up all that. Still just a couple more minutes because what it's got to do is got to penetrate and get a hold of all that dry paint that was on there. So let's go this way and add just some squares. And what I'm going to do with that is you know what, that cherry blossom didn't really come through, so let's use some of that. I'm not looking for something to really like be focal or grab your eye. I'm just looking for just, you know, proof and evidence of another layer. Just dabbing it, not being perfect, not being precise. And that's nice. Just line it up, do another one. So that just gives me, ooh, where'd that hair come from? So it just gives a little bit more. Let's get on the other side. I don't know, maybe over here, why don't we do the circles? Something a little different, right? I just think, you know, it's kind of fun at the moment showing you both front and back, just to let you know that the technique or the colors, you know, they can, you know, it's just kind of to show you with that and kind of the same idea, but they're going to look different, and it's going to look different no matter what stencils you have. I think the thing here is, or what I'm just trying to show you is that it's about the scale. So, you know, let's say You know, you kind of did it. You've got the circles, the big circles going, and you've got, let's say you've only got a triangle. Okay, so you've only got, let's say, this stencil. So go ahead and use it because the scale is about the same. Now, adding these large squares or these large circles are going to look different. So it's using what you have. Okay, so now for these big circles, let's just make them stand out a little bit more. And how, let's see how this is. Yeah, that's dry. So now I've also got some bigger for if I wanted to use it for a background for a card. But let's get these circles to stand out a little bit more. And so what I'm going to use is something water soluble. So I happen to have a InkTense. This one is Tan 1720. Okay. But you could also, you know, there's a lot of water soluble, like the Stabilo. Where is it? You could just use a pencil and just smudge it. You could use a charcoal. You could use your, like I said, a Stabilo. So there's lots of different choices. What you're doing is just adding, you know, a line. You're adding just a, you know, a line with a little color, and I'm going to be doing it really loosely by just, because I don't want it to be perfect. So I'm going to hold it back here so it's really, really loose, and I'm just going to follow that edge. Maybe if it's a little bit more comfortable, go a little closer, but the main thing is just to stay loose. I'm just going to do a couple lines there, and then they intersect here, looking very interesting to me. And you know what? I want these to stick out a little, so we'll just go nice and light here, not being perfect. We'll change things up and kick that one out there. And then now if you just take a, again for looseness, if I take a big brush, this happens to be, what is this, a Vicki Boutin 3/4 inch. It holds a lot of water. It's nice. Maybe a little too much for what I'm going to do here, but I'm just going to grab a little bit of this to make it react. Also, just enough so we get going on there like that. Okay, so let's do the same in the back. You know what, let's change it up. Let's let me show you with something bold, like a charcoal. If now don't go, this is going to be a really, really light touch, because if this charcoal, let me show you here, if this is going to be a light touch line, and this is going to be a dark touch, you know, this is a light touch, this is a heavy touch. So that's quite a difference. And then look at how different these are when you smudge. So depending on what you want to go for, but I'm going to go with the light touch. Really loosely right around that edge. Like so. And like so. This one you don't need so many different squiggles, just enough to say, hey, I'm making this line stick out. You know what, let's just go a little heavy there like that. Maybe down here. Okay, and then we can just blend this out a little. That adds a a really nice bit of dimension. Let's get these going here. Again, really light touch. Now I am losing a bit of that pink, so we can always use an eraser if you have one. And I am looking for mine, which happens to be on a pencil sharpener. So if we just use this and just pull up a little bit of that smudging just so that pink pops back through. There we go. Okay, so those are two pretty different looks here. Let's get a little bit of this tan to pop. To me that looks more like brown, but I don't know. InkTense is saying it's tan. Okay, so I'm liking that so far. Let's got a couple rub-ons here just to make it real quick and easy. Let's see. Let's add, I think I'm going to add let's see. Maybe this one, and I got these clearance. I don't know why they're removing them, but for some reason they're removing them from Michael's, strangely enough. And then, I don't know, maybe that one will even... So let's get this one done first, this side. And I'm seeing this now, and I think I want another circle behind her head. So let's see. Would this one be... No, that would be too small. So let me grab a round stamp. Okay, so I found something to do on the other side, but it's going to be kind of a little bulky, so I'm going to do this side first. So I really decided to put her right along here. I liked how she was kind of breaking that line up. So we'll go. Oh, my son's playing video games. Sorry. Oh, he loves those games. And then I've just got one of the Ideology Tim Holtz scrapers just to get it started. These seem to come up pretty easy. Yeah, these were all clearance at Michael's, and decided to try some of them. And we can never have too many products, right? So for this, the 30 days of an index card a day, I thought, well, I'm going to be trying to work outside my comfort zone, doing things a little differently. Or not really differently, but just use up my products that I have. So instead of just everything having to be a finished card or a finished journal page, I like these index cards a day. So there we go. Let's get it smoothed out. So that looks pretty good. So let's get an edge on here, and then this might be pretty much done. Simple, just put on an accessory, on a card. Let me show you. That's what it would look like backed. I think that's nice. We need a little bit of shadow. I've got all this black on my finger. Just get her a little darker around here. As if it was a shadow. There we go. That did it. Here we go. Okay, let's get to the other side. So this one here, I found, let's because I didn't find a stamp that was big enough to go behind her head. So that was kind of what I was looking at. So I did find these, and I like it kind of like that. But the issue is this is a rub-on. So if I'm going to get her to pop out of there, I'm actually going to rub her onto here first. So let's find a good, yeah. Now this isn't going to show through, but it's the same colors. So it kind of just makes me feel like it's going to just go better. See, because they are kind of popping through a little bit. And then I'm going to fussy cut her out. And then let's just get going on the wood so that can dry while, here, this can dry while I'm fussy cutting that out. And what I decided to do for this was to go with a nice soft pink color, but I didn't want to just paint it solid. So I'm going to kind of what, I don't know, I would consider like a wash, I guess. So if I've got a rough Dina Wakely, and we're going to take, and I've just got a cup of water, and I'm going to get this wet first, because I wanted, I guess, to show that it's still wood. So if I do that, get it nice and wet. Let's get a little bit of the buff paint out too, just so we can add a little like highlight. Oh, that might be way too much. We'll see. Okay, so we'll let that dry. Still can tell it's wood. And it's a beautiful kind of, oh, look at that side. Okay, so I'm all cut out, and this is dry. This is how it looks. That's one side, that's the other. I think I'm going to use this one because I like how the little pops of brown are coming out. And what I want a bit of a shadow here behind her. So if we do something like this, I want a shadow. So let's take the ring off, and then I'm going to use where I cut her out. So right about there, and then I've got some black soot here, any type of, I don't know, water soluble ink will do. You don't want anything like what do you call it, stays on, because it's a pigmented. You don't want pigmented. So I'm just going to be adding a light shadow in here, and you could use whatever you're comfortable with, but I just want a real soft. You could have even used, you know, this here, but I just wanted really soft, and these brushes are great for that. It adds just the hint without being too overpowering, because if you remember, this is the other side of the index card, and I didn't want it really bold like this side. So there we go. Now let's see how that is. Yeah, it's just that little extra. It automatically gives that shadowing that I think looks good. Okay, let's get this glued down. Simple enough. We'll get leave her like this. Let's get some. I'm going to be using Distress Collage medium. I do like this. Whatever glue adhesive you have. Which side again? This side. And just go around. I like this glue because it actually kind of retracts and you really won't see it once it dries. There's also a bigger bottle now too, but I've got this one on hand. Don't need much, it's really quick drying. So I want her position like right about there. This side wet too and do it to both sides. So I'm really liking there's like that burnt color in there, which I really like, which I guess Wood Chips by Seth Apter. And I believe that these, I bought those because they match a set of stamps I got of his. So, okay. So I'll give this a quick dry, get this fussy cut, and I'll be right back. And then for this edging, I think what I'm going to do is use my brown pencil, or the tan pencil, excuse me, the InkTense. See, that's dry already. And just do an edging. So again, I'm just going to go real loose. Go around. I like squigglies. Go a couple times. Like so. And then maybe, you know what, we're gonna use up some of this paint. Usually the darker the better for when you edge, but then again it's not written in stone either. I think just something to say that you've just completed it. It's kind of done, I guess is the way I see edging. I like that, and I like this side. Maybe there was a quote. Let me see here. So this quote says, "Laughter is a smile with the volume turned up." Maybe if we can get this somewhere in here, or maybe here. Yeah, why don't we do that? Let's give that a couple seconds more to dry. Let's get this onto, if it goes down there, I don't know, how about like somewhere right here? Yeah. And you know what? I think because these circles are kind of into it, let's rub the whole thing on there. And then just kind of sand off some of the circle. So then that way I'm not cutting it. Where's my, there it is. I'm not cutting it because it might just look like it's just too harsh. So why don't we try this? We'll get it all on, and then we'll sand down some of that circle. So it's coming up on its own, actually. Let's get this. And this is just a really rough, I don't know, my dollar store had them. So here it is before sanding. And let's just... There we go. So it looks like it's not quite meant, I don't know. So with this, I think, let's get maybe a square. So I'll be right back. I'm going to die cut this. Okay, so here it is done, and I'm going to just, this is what it looks like here. And I also want something to go along the bottom just to tie this black in. And so let's get started with just edging this a little bit. I want to do it before, I want to do it before I add the thread, just because then that way I don't have to worry about if it's going to get hit or not. Now to make this easy on myself, I'm going to use my ruler here and get a really straight line. Where'd my needle go? Oh my. The things we lose, right? Okay. So I've just got some packaging foam here. Nothing fancy. Kept it for like a squish board. So let's get this going. Let's see. Here's this Tim Holtz ruler has little holes in it, so I can space them. So let's go like, let's start here. I'm going to go, I think, every second hole. It's lined up. It's going to leave about a 1/4 inch from the bottom, which, I think I actually want it to be more than a 1/4 inch, so about right there, which I can lift it up. That's okay because the needle's long enough to go through. As long as I hold the paper, I'm just going every other hole. Easy as that. You see it? And then I'm going to have it doubled. This is just, actually this is upholstery thread, so it's a little on the thicker side, but the needle that I had, the hole was too, and actually I'm going to start from this side so I can tie it off over here. Anyway, as I was saying, the hole was too small, so it wouldn't go through, so I just kind of split the thread. No big deal. I'm just doing a basic over, under, which would, I don't even know what you would call it, but it's just to add a little bit of color. And so if we glue this down here like that, something like that, we can even do a couple through here like this. Just to make it seem like it's all tied together, which I guess it is. Technically, right? That's enough. I'll go back down. That may look funky, but I can always just come back up through that hole. No, actually, No, it doesn't. Okay. Okay, so I've got all the stitching done. I like to leave the threads until I get it all kind of put together and then I decide where to cut. But for now, let's get this glued down. And we only really need a little bit right here. So let's get this like this. Okay, liking that. Now, excuse me. Okay, I'm going to use just a quick. Okay, so what I'm going to go with, kind of in the rub-ons actually, since I did it with these here, I found Specimen Remnant rubs. These are the new ones for this year, and I liked, I think, and now these are all optional steps really, because I think that's pretty just the way it is, and if you wanted to leave it until you knew exactly what kind of you know, title or quote or whatever you wanted to say on here, just leave it and then add small talk or chit chat, whatever you want on there later, depending on what card you add it to. But I'm just going to show you and play with it so you can see where I would put it or how I would complete it when it's time. So I think I really like destination right there. So let's get this cut out. I'm going to put it back onto the sheet. Grab some long neck scissors. Let's make sure this is lined up properly so I don't lose all those rubs. I like seeing through there, but you are kind of taking a chance. Maybe some of them sticking to your fingers and stuff, so just be careful. So let's see, it was destination. Now you could always just take and, you know, if you're pretty confident, just rub it right from here without cutting it out. But this one I don't want any extra stuff rubbing off, so I'm doing it this way. And I might have an issue because of the wood. It'll be fine. So how about right... go right along, yep, right there. There seems to, like for me, I just see this little pocket of the hat. I don't know. I usually though really like doing stuff on its side like this. So for me, it works. So let's get this started. Tim's rubs kind of, you can see there how it starts to come up off the heavy plastic. And then once usually that starts, this will like pop right up. So see how it's like popping up? So I should be okay with the wood. Yep. There we go. Now, do I think that's too perfect? No, I like that it's very sharp edge, not distressed. Just kind of makes it stand out a little bit more. Down here, I think it needs, what did I see? Yeah, I like these figures. So let's get one of these. I have to go right down there. And then I think the back side we'll add and see what needs back there, and then we're almost done. So like maybe right here. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Saved. Okay, so do I like it here? I do. So it kind of balances. And that's okay that that one kind of roughed up. In fact, this one down here, I'm going to rough up a little. Light side. Not too much. There. Okay, so that's it for this side. Here we go. On the black. Looks really nice. And then this side, it's all glued. Let's see. Let's add a figure here. Have it kind of, this will be the up and down. So basically they're both pretty much the same styles, using the same things. It's just difference of colors. Roughed up a little. Again, not necessary. This takes that newness away from it, and there we go. That's that one. There's that there. Oh, let's get some of these tied, or not tied, but cut down. But I like the airy look of it. Kind of matches her hair. There we go. So there's that one, and there's that one. So thank you for joining me today. If you like what you see, please subscribe and hit the bell. I will be doing these for 30 days. Thank you.